Scootaloo, it's time for bed. The orange filly was lying down on her bedroom floor. The untrained eye and might have seemed like she was simply playing with her wonderful toys that were scattered across her floor at the foot of her bed. However, in reality, she was doing something else, something far more serious and important. Scootaloo! Her Aunt Holiday sternly called her from the doorway. You aren't looking under your bed again, are you? Hitting her bed against the bed frame, Scootaloo raised her head and sat up straight. A hoof was rubbing her sore head. No, ow! I was, looking for one of my action figures. Yeah. I lost Captain Spitfire and I need her to finish the Wonderbolt's Aero mission. Scootaloo lied with a guilty smile. Aunt Holiday wasn't buying it. She trotted in the room and pointed to one of the figures that centered all across the room. Well, you can call off the rescue party, 'cause I found her. Oh, there she is, safe and sound, Scootaloo said with a nervous laugh. Come on now, Scootaloo. It's time to pick up your toys and go to bed. Nancy Holiday instructed before taking a look around the entire room for a moment, seeing how messy it was. Tomorrow, it's time for us to entirely clean your room up. The room Scootaloo called home wasn't too large, but the filly certainly made it her own. With her bed up against the wall in the far center, the rest of the walls were bordered with different furniture to help Scootaloo store and organize her belongings, such as clothing, toys, and collectibles, and more. However, more items were scattered throughout, including jackets simply drawn whenever the young Mary thought would be fitting. The closet doors, though supposed to be closed completely, were left ajar to the items that Scootaloo tried to simply shove out of the way. The filly was picking all of her action figures and placing them in their proper tub. It's not that bad, she claimed. Your rain boots are still muddy, and it hasn't rained in 2 weeks, Auntie Holiday said with bewilderment. I'm not even sure how that's possible. They're fine. Next time I wear them in the rain, they'll be clean again, Scootaloo said as she slid the tubs of toys away in the cubby. Her niece's words did cause Aunt Holiday to crack a smile. You certainly take after your father. Anyway, first thing tomorrow morning, you and me and your Auntie Lofi are gonna clean this room from top to bottom. You understand me, Scootaloo? With a defeated sigh, Scootaloo nodded. Yeah. Good. Now, did you brush your teeth? Yes, Scootaloo said as she climbed into her bed. Until Holiday trotted over to her Scootaloo's bedside. Did you really brush your teeth, or are you just saying that? I really did, Scootaloo said with a giggle. A warm smile was on Aunt Holiday's face as she pulled over the clip over Philly's body. Good. Now it's time for you to get some rest. The mare used her hooves to tuck the quilt under Scootaloo's body, securing her in place and leaving the filly with her head resting on the pillow. And her front hooves slightly peeking over the top of the quilt. Thanks, Auntie Holiday. Scootaloo yawned as she settled in. Aunt Holiday got to the bedroom door before she stopped by School's voice again. Aunt Holiday? Can you check under the bed for... Billy trailed off. Turning around, Aunt Holiday finished her thought with a half smile and half chuckle. Check under your bed for monsters again. School nodded. Her face reflected exactly what the Billy was feeling. Fright, worry, and panic. A small smirk appeared on Aunt Holiday's face. So you're looking for that clown again? Was gonna eat me alive, School ejected, and Holiday trotted back to School's bedside. Are you sure you just didn't mistake Ruby in the dark? You know how she likes to sleep in closed spaces a lot. He asked. It wasn't Ruby, School ejected. I know the difference between a crazed monster that's working in my room and the cat. Aunt Holiday sat down at the far end of the bed looking at her niece. Schooloo, I can assure you there's nothing hiding underneath your bed. Honestly, if something could live down there with your dirty clothes, it would be a miracle of science and nature. But I know I saw something down there, Schooloo claimed as she almost sat up in her bed. It's big and scary looking and shh. And Holiday placed a hoof on Schooloo's blanket body and gently guided her back to the mattress. If it makes you feel better, I'll look underneath your bed for you. Schooloo nervously nodded in agreement with the idea. Aunt Holiday stood up to her hooves and lowered herself to look underneath the bed frame. From below she spoke. Nope, no monsters under here. As she raised herself back up, she did come up with something in her hoof. But I did find a dragon. It was a purple dragon plushie. There he is, gimme! School reached out to take a push, holding it close to her body. But other than a number of toys and clothes, and what I hope are not spilled glasses of juice, there's nothing under your bed, Aunt Holiday reported. Good, good. School breathed a sigh of release. Now, can you check the closet? As requested, Aunt Holiday trotted to the closet that was now on the opposite side of the bed, and to the left of the door that led to the hallway. Okay, but I can assure you, there's nothing in here either, Schooloo, she said, opening one of the jar doors. See? Nothing but the pile of your stuff that we're going through tomorrow. Honestly, you must really take after both your father as well as Auntie Loafy when it comes to your pack rat tendencies. Schooloo clutched the plushie as he meant it. I did it to keep the monsters from hiding in there. Aunt Holiday closed the closet doors as far as she could, leaving them open with a small gate. Schooloo, I know you're so young and imaginative, and that's one of the many reasons we love you, she said as she returned to School's bedside. But you'll be getting your key mark soon. You understand there's no such thing as monsters that hide under your bed or in your closet. But I know what I saw. Are you sure it just wasn't the lights from the outside the window tricking you? Or maybe it was just a bad dream. Schooloo had a sour expression. I don't know. It's all in your head, Schooloo. You have nothing to worry about. Aunt Holiday gave a reassuring smile as she lightly and lovingly bopped the filly with a hoof on her forehead. And if you ever need anything, your Auntie Lofi and I are always here for you. The filly smiled back, even though it was weak. Thanks. Now, get some rest. Until they trotted to the bedroom door. Can you do the thing? And Holiday had a small smirk on her face as she made her way back to the bed one last time. Alright, alright. At the foot of Sula's bed, she used one of her hooves to press some imaginary control power, making beeping, booping noises. She then added commentary, activating the super and awesome painted scoots and shields. And Aunt Holiday placed her hooves on the edge of the bed and raised them upward, mimicking the raising of a barrier along with a sound effect. There we go. Now you're all safe and sound in your bed. School smiled as she watched the entire process. Thank you. You're welcome, Skulu. Aunt Holiday trotted to the door for the final time. Good night and sweet dreams. Good night, Aunt Holiday. The mayor turned the light off and pulled the door closed, but left it open just to allow any light from the hallway beyond to trickle into Skulu's room. It was how she preferred it. There were different few light sources of light that aided in lighting the room up. From within, there was a faint glow of her old nightlight that had a dying bulb. A few of her toys and collectibles that were giving a slight glow to them. They were very limited edition after all. And her alarm clock lit up with the current time, 9:37 p.m. From outside the room, a bit of light poured in from the hallway. Aunt Holiday and Aunt Lofi always got to stay up later than Scooby, spending their evenings in the living room. There were also some faint light coming in from the window, as it always did from the street lamps that lined the roads. Normally there would be some sort of moonlight as well, but it was a new moon. Skulu knew exactly what this meant. I know you're there. Her words didn't get a response. To be fair, Skulu wasn't expecting a response either. But she wanted them to know she wasn't going to let them go unnoticed. Not tonight. Skulu's eyes were becoming more adjusted to the minimal amount of light in her room. She was able to make out different shapes and familiar objects throughout her room. This did relax her, though only for a bit. Her eyes caught something. By the dresser, Skulu saw an object of some sort. What it exactly was, she couldn't tell. But the filly eyes were fixated on it in a desperate attempt to make out what was hiding there. It stared back at her. Whatever it was, the piercing eyes dared her to blink first, which Skulu took to mean that if she were to do so, it might be the last thing she did. What was it? The dark hit the monster well, like it had dwelled in these shadows for all of its life. waiting for school to let her guard down for just that one moment. That's when he will strike. The filly was positive of it. After all, it's what she would do if the horseshoe was on the other hoof. With the nightlight assistance, Lulu figured out who she was engaged in with a staring contest with. A plushie resting on top of a pile of her dirty clothes. With a sigh of relief, Scoo calmed her nerves. Upon closer inspection, she noticed that the lime lighting of her room casted shadows. That caused her stuffed flesh to appear as some sort of grotesque creature waiting for her to lure her god. Ha! Scoo softly laughed. Nice try, but it's gonna take more than that to scare me. Her words didn't travel far, as it looked like as if she was talking to herself. The comfort didn't last long, as the pony eyes traveled across her room again, this time to the cracked door that allowed for a little light to come in from the hallway. It was a light that came from the living room down the hall where her aunts were. Skulu knew this. She knew her aunt's house like the back of her foot. But what bothered her was the sound of footsteps she heard. Composed, unsettling stride was inaudible to the filly. The sound slowly grew as a shadow that was growing in light. Aunt Holiday? No answer. Auntie Luffy? Again, no answer. The shadow held its position, paused as if it was biding its time. For Skulu could ask again if it was one of her aunts. The light in the hallway suddenly showed off. Without a word, Skulu's heart jumped and her body froze in dread. The cat. It had to be Ruby, Skulu told herself. Yeah, it had to be her. Ruby was a cat that Aunt Holiday and Aunt Luby had ever since they moved in together. The once vibrant, energetic kitten that was so wonderful, hooful that brought School's aunts together, had grown into a tired but loving cat that acted as sort of guardian of the household. School had doubts of Ruby's guard duties, however, as she always seemed to be absent when the filly needed backup against the possible monsters hidings in her room. Or maybe that's what it looks like when Auntie Loafing turns off the lights in the living room. That could also make sense. Lulu was often quick to fall asleep after being talked in, so perhaps it was just the light going off. But she had noticed her sightings of creatures had only been on nights when the moon was not in the night sky, and only after both of her aunts had gone to bed. It seemed that the setting was right for the monsters to visit again. Ruby? Skulu called out, lightly patting her bed to call the cat to her. Are you there? There was no response. No meowing, no movement, no nothing. Skulu had an overreactive imagination. It often would get her in a bit of trouble, like the time she was sure King Sorrow was hiding in the aisle of that pottery store. Even her closest friend, Alaboo and Sweetie Belle, were becoming a bit annoyed by Skulu's wild claims. She told him about the various monsters that the filly said haunted her room, but they brush her off. Even the schools and sissies that they spend the night at her place to study closely were ignored. Even after school suggested possibility of paranormal investigation teamwork. It's nothing, Philly said to herself, hoping to calm her nerves that were going haywire. It's absolutely nothing. Again, her words didn't travel far beyond her own ears, nor did they have the intended effect. Reaching to the side of her bed, School grabbed a cricket bat. It was her Auntie Lofi's bat that she was borrowing for a few weeks, as the kitty marks were planning on trying their who-fought cricket. While they gave the sport a try, they were more confused by two questions they had. Why does Auntie Lovey like cricket so much? And how does the game even work? In fact, most encouragers saw him playing the game was wondering if they were playing it correctly. Since Sweetie Belle insists on having a helmet on while being bowler, while Apple Bloom had a slight knack for the sport. School enjoyed hitting things with a bat. Tonight, however, School was planning on using it for a different kind of home run. Clutching the plushie in one hoof with the bat in her mouth, she looked towards the doorway in front of her. The dim light was more than enough for her to fix her gaze upon the ajar door. Her body was trembling as she tried her best to calm herself with deep breaths. I know you're there. Show yourself, she demanded. As School's word, the door slowly opened without a sound. The door's movement caused the pony to sit up in dread as a number of thoughts flooded her mind. How was it opening? What was on the other side? What will Scootaloo do? The door was maybe halfway open before revealing a sort of creature on the other side, lit up by nightlight and a few other sources of light in the room. Scootaloo was able to make it out. It looked like a dog on all fours, but definitely bigger than Apollo's dog, Leona. Its coat was dark, mostly likely black, since all light that shined on it was quickly absorbed into its darkness. The most seen figure was the massive singularity, red-eyed, that seemed to glow in the dark, right above its muzzle. It was moving into the room. Its steps had no sound against the hardwood floor, but its composed and deep breathing was more than audible to the filly. Seeing the creature before her sparked a fight or flight response in Scootaloo in a fraction of a second. With little or more than half a dog, Scootaloo drew her dragon puff at the still slowing opening door. A slow thud confirmed that the plush made contact with the door, causing it to change direction and return to its former state. The flesh fell to the door and the door hid the four-legged creature. A victorious smile appeared on the pony's face, but quickly washed away by something she had been fearing all night. The dim nightlight in her room burned out, casting the bedroom into more darkness. Oh, no. Oh, Celestia, no. She mumbled quietly to herself. The amount of light dropped significantly. The main light now came from an alarm clock and the street lights outside the window Her eyes thankfully quickly adjusted to the lack of light. But just because she couldn't make out the shades in the dark of the room didn't mean she was okay. As her mind was focused on something else, why did I dread the plushie and not the bat? She asked herself, holding on tightly to one bed as if she was begging it to give her some form of comfort. As much as Skula wanted to get out of her bed, her chair closed to close the door to keep that thing out. She couldn't find the strength to move. Setting her hoops on the hardwood floor and out of the force field would mean the end. It didn't help that she couldn't easily see the door either. Skula could could sort of see it, part of it anyway. She knew her room, but in the darkness of night, it was a whole different story. When she ran to her toy chest or her dresser, or when she tripped over one of the toys, or the clothes that had scattered all over her room. Maybe Aunt Holiday point about keeping her room clean has some merit after all. In the blackness of the bedroom, there was some movement. Skula froze as she heard something move. The sound was soft and gentle, as if they were carefully calculating movements in the dark. She tried to think what it could be, anything really. Ruby, maybe? Maybe Ruby came in the dark and she went to sleep with School in her bed. The filly didn't like the cat seeing our bed, but given the even she was having, School could use the company. The young Pegasus held her breath, listening for any changes. There was something almost like scratching. It was the kind of scratching Sue knew well to Ruby pulling at the bedroom door. Ruby. It's just Ruby being a cat, Skulu thought, as she breathed a huge sigh of relief. The sound continued for a couple more seconds and abruptly stopped. Skula figured Ruby got bored and left her room. It made sense to the feeling, helped calm her. This allowed her to settle back into her bed. It's just my mind playing tricks on me, Skula thought to reassure herself. She had a relaxed smile now, however, but she still had a tight grasp on her cricket back. After all, I have the school shoe up. And Holiday put it up, and Auntie Lofi installed it herself. Only I can say what comes in and what comes out, what goes out. Something brushed against her body. Her eyes opened widely in confusion, but only saw pitch black. She moved her hoof to what was touching her. She felt around her what was being crushed against her front limb. It was a soft and almost fleshy texture to it. It was her dragon plushie. Wait a second. Didn't I throw that plushie at the door? She asked as she felt around the entire plush. Her knowledge and memory of the toy confirmed it. A low voice responded. Just returning it back to you. Skula's face grew internally pale at two things: the sudden voice she thought she heard, and something she felt holding the flesh against her, which can only be described as a cold claw. The supposed claw seemed to let go of the plushie onto Skula's bed. The pony gripped the dragon plush. But all her mind as her mind and heart both raced. She thought about what she just felt. It was a claw that was both clammy and bumpy to the touch. It felt fleshy, hairy, and icy all at once, and School's limbs grew goosebumps at her mind continued to think about what just happened. What the buck was that? That freaky thing, she muttered to herself. I might be a monster, but I have feelings. The voice called back with a bit of attitude. Words hurt, you know. I'm sorry? Joey paused with some confusion. Well, you should be, the voice replied. Also, I would like to request that you clean out underneath your bed. It's absolutely disgusting underneath this bed. I don't like sharing it with all these ants eating all this food you hide down here. Also, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but these scattered Joan beans are as hard as rocks. School wasn't sure how to truly answer. Did nonetheless. Okay. Thanks. Now have a good night. I need to get some rest myself. The disembodied voice spoke in almost a friendly manner before going completely silent. Again, the filly's mind returned to one question. Who or what was that? Is that the clown thing that keeps appearing when she's trying to sleep? Or was it something far worse? Her heart was still pounding hard as she thought about it. She wanted to call back to whoever it was, but she couldn't find the courage. Despite all the horror and dread she was feeling, Lulu did have a bit of a crazy smile, though. As she knew she had something to prove to Apple and Sweetie Belle that she wasn't insane. She had proved that there truly were monsters under her bed. Lulu's mind continued to gallop as fast as her heart was beating in the dark and still room. However, among the signs, the feeling began hearing something new, a soft murmuring. If it wasn't otherwise silent, she wouldn't even think that she heard anything at all. The pony listened closely, hoping to figure out who it was. It had to be Aunt Holiday or Auntie Lofi, right? The two of them sometimes stay up late and watch bad sci-fi movies ever so often. Maybe it was one of those nights without moving a muscle. Sue listened to it. What she had heard wasn't anything she had heard before. It wasn't ponyish or anything like that, but rather the sounds of some sort of dark and deep mumbling in a language from some other realm. Again, every fiber of her being telling her otherwise. School raised her head up to where she thought the source of the murmuring was coming from. After all, couldn't be anything even stranger than what she thought has already happened. Her head raised. She looked through her dimly lit darkness through her closet doors, which were now more open with a figure standing between them. It was a tall, imposing figure that towered the closet doorway itself. The being looked to be composed entirely of a mass of moving shadows and smoke. Skulu could not see any of the features of this being, but even with the lack of eyes, she felt a piercing glare from it. The thing was paralyzed with fear as she couldn't see her staring contents of the child being. She slowly and carefully lower her back to the pillow, continually hearing unnerving sounds from the creature. Finding a strength in her body, tap on the top of the mattress. School asked for help. Hey, hey, are you still up? Not creature that lives under my bed, are you still there? Took a moment, but the voice replied with a yawn. Oh, yeah, what is this, Scoo? I'm trying to sleep. Scoo had a slight chill run down her back. How do you know my name? I live on your bed, of course I know your name. Voice explained with a mild noise and exhausted. Now, what is it? Oh, that's it. The filly tried hard not to dwell on exactly what the voice said and continued, There's something sitting in my closet. What is it? Oh, that's just a shadow being. They just live here with the rest of us, the voice answered with a flint onto us. Sula didn't like what she just heard. Well, yeah, you didn't think you live in this place all by yourself, did you? Anyway, they just sort of float there and do their own thing. I think they're staring at you because they're disappointed about how messy your room is. Can't say I blame them. Sula paused as he thought about the same room. She doesn't admit it was so messy that even Alboon's pigs found it too filthy. Is that also why that weird devil dog also was looking at me with his evil red eye? She asked. Who? That black shuck? No, he just wants to play fetch. What? Sure, a black shuck might be a demonic entity that prowls in graveyards and harboring death, but still dog. Small filly still had a number of questions to ask about everything that happened this evening. However, she decided to simply cut her losses. At least I didn't see that creepy clown tonight. Creepy clown? Why are you talking about? The voice spoke for more for making a realization. Oh, that clown you saw was me. Your school's eyes widened as she heard the voice's word. You're that creepy feeling eating clown? Yes and no. It's a form I took a while back. I heard that fools in Philly like clowns. Voice explained with a hint of embarrassment. The point is, I know that trying to make friends at night in the form of clown is the best idea. Sorry, that was entirely my bad. School's voice was shaking a bit. So you transform me to eat ponies? Hey, that's a very hurtful stereotype. I don't eat ponies. The voice protested. Just the ones who don't clean their rooms. The floating body sees out at the voice's word. Kidding. I'm kidding. The voice insisted. Not funny. There was a knocking on the bedroom door, followed by the turning on of the overhead light. Knock knock! A cheerful voice greeted. It's time to get up. Skulu opened her eyes and rose up in her bed. She saw that Aunt Holiday was the doorway, greeting the filly. Skulu yawned and rubbed her eyes with her hooves. How do you sleep, Skulu? Aunt Holiday asked, noting she was looking exhausted. The young pony wasn't sure how to respond. She took a moment to find the words. It was alright, I guess. I had a weird really weird nightmare. It felt really real too. Oh dear, are you okay? Skulu Aunt asked with concern. Yeah, I'm okay. The fluid got up out of her bed and stretched her limbs and wings. Aunt Holly breathed a small sigh of relief. Thanks, Leslie. You know you can always talk to me or your Aunt Luffy if you have any more bad dreams. Thanks, Aunt Holiday. Skula smiles. Mara, of course. No, how about some breakfast? Okay. Okay, and after that, can we maybe clean up my room up? I think it's way overdue. Man, this was oddly satisfying, but I really like it though. Like, yeah, it did like scare me, like kind of scare me. Not really. Guess it would. But either way, I didn't realize it was a comedy until I clicked onto it. Anyways, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. I should go to bed. Alright, see you guys on the flip side.